Good morning, everyone. The second page of teasers for Path of Exile 2 is growing faster than we imagined. The developers are dropping hints about new features, like a weapon lock system, additional support gems, and some visual polish for the game. These might sound like small tweaks at first, but trust me, even these little updates are stacking up to make the game feel so much better after the 0.20 content patch. And here's the kicker, we still haven't heard the massive headline reveals yet. They're keeping the juiciest details under wraps, but what they've shared so far, it's already exciting. Let's start with one of the quality of life features they're teasing, the ability to lock your main hand weapon, offhand weapon, or both. This means you can use the same gear across your two weapon sets without juggling items in your inventory. At first glance, it doesn't sound groundbreaking, right? But stick with me for a moment. How many times have you found two amazing weapons and wanted to make the most of the skill tree's weapon set system, only to realize swapping gear between sets is a hassle? With this update, you'll be able to keep that same weapon equipped for both sets. Imagine you've got a skill like Shattering Concoction, super focused on critical strikes. You'd load up your skill tree with nodes that boost critical strike damage to make those throws devastating, but then you want to cast something like Hypothermia Curse or Freezing Mark alongside it. Those curses don't need critical strike power, they'd benefit more from amplifying their own effects. Here's where it gets clever. Normally, you'd need a second weapon set to avoid wasting those critical strike points on a curse-focused setup, but you don't want to swap weapons mid-fight just to cast a curse with your bow, especially since you can already use it together with your main skill. With this new lock feature, you can assign the same weapon to both sets. No more fiddling with gear swaps, no more awkward delays when you accidentally equip nothing because you forgot to move items around. For me, this is going to streamline at least 5 of my 11 current character builds. It's a fantastic change. Small on paper, huge in practice. Next up, they've hinted at a bunch of new support gems. They've already shown off 5, but I'm betting we'll see 15 to 20 by the time this update lands. One of the latest they've revealed is called Battershout. Let's break it down with a quick example. Picture this, you're in a fight, you use a skill to shatter an enemy's armor, and then, boom, everything explodes. Here's how it works. Battershout supports skills that can't break armor on their own. Instead, it triggers when an enemy's armor is fully shattered by another ability. When that happens, it consumes the broken armor and unleashes an explosion of physical area damage. In the teaser clip, the character uses an armor-breaking skill first, then follows up with Infernal Cry, supported by Battershout. The result? A massive double explosion. The gem's description says it deals physical damage equal to half the broken armor value, with a blast radius of 2 meters, plus you get a 4% damage boost for every 50 points of strength your character has. I'm loving this for strength-focused builds. My current warrior has 300 strength, so that's a nice chunk of extra damage right there. The catch? It doesn't factor in over-broken armor, like the crazy effects you get from stacking bonuses with unique items or ascendancy choices. Still, it's a blast to play with. Literally, imagine a warrior charging around, shattering armor left and right, triggering chain reactions of explosions. I've been tinkering with a setup where I break armor with a resonating shield while my totems hammer enemies from a distance. Add Battershout into the mix with Infernal Cry, and it's a fireworks show. Enemies popping everywhere. It's chaotic, satisfying, and perfect for armor-breaking enthusiasts. Then there's another gem that's stealing my heart. Perfection. This one's all about rewarding precision. Let's say you're using a skill like Snipe where you line up the perfect shot for maximum damage. Perfection ties into skills with timing mechanics. Nail that perfect moment, and you earn a stack of perfection. Miss it, and you lose all your stacks. Each stack lasts 6 seconds, and you can build up to 3 of them. What's the payoff? Every stack gives you 5% more damage, so at 3 stacks, you're hitting 15% harder. For my warrior, I could pair this with skills that already reward perfect timing, then layer on extra damage boosts from other sources. It's not game-changing on its own, but if you're already aiming for those precise hits, like I do with my timing-based builds, it feels incredibly rewarding. Plus, 6 seconds is plenty of time to keep the stacks rolling if you're on your game. Beyond mechanics, the developers are also sprucing up the game's look and sound. They showed off a visual upgrade for essences, and I've got to say, it's striking. The new design pops on screen. You instantly know what you're dealing with. It's a small detail, but it matters. Little touches like this make the game feel alive and polished. They're not just throwing new stuff at us, they're refining what's already there to keep the experience immersive and crisp. So, where does this leave us? These updates, the weapon lock, Battershout, perfection, improved visuals, they're adding options and smoothing out rough edges. The weapon lock alone is a dream for experimenting with builds. I gave you one example, but I bet you could come up with 10 more ways it'd help. Battershout and perfection might not flip your entire strategy upside down, but they're fresh tools to play with. Toss in the upgraded essences, new unique items on the way, an updated endgame map system, and changes to the tower mechanics, and it's a lot to chew on. They've teased 7 support gems so far with more to come, and that's just the minor stuff. Here's the thing, all of this is still the appetizer. The developers are holding back the major reveals, the big, game-shaking features that'll have us glued to our screens. I'm dying to dive into this update, especially for my totem builds. I want more ways to make totems diverse and fun, not just the same old setups. What about you? What's the one huge feature you're hoping they unveil? Something for your favorite playstyle maybe? A new class, a wild unique item, or an endgame twist that changes everything? If you've missed the earlier teaser videos, go check them out. They're packed with hints about what's coming. This 0.2.0 update is shaping up to be a turning point for Path of Exile 2. The small changes are already promising, and the big stuff, that's still a mystery we can't wait to unravel. I'm itching to test these tweaks on my builds and see what else they got in store. Let me know what you think, what's got you hyped. Until then, enjoy the anticipation, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time with more updates. Oh, and one last thought before I go. What if they surprise us with something totally wild? Picture this. A new totem-focused unique that lets you summon multiple types at once, like a fire totem and an ice totem, combo wreaking havoc together, or maybe a support gem that links totems to your movement so they follow you around like little destructive pets. I'm dreaming big here, but that's half the fun of these teasers, guessing what's next. Whatever they drop, I'll be ready to jump in and experiment the second this update hits. Stay tuned, keep theory crafting, and let's see how this all plays out.